Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making some easy, delicious peppermint patties. So let's get started. First off, I want to sift my powdered sugar out. No lumps for your peppermint patties. Nice and smooth and creamy on the inside. 600 to 660 grams. I don't know what happened this time. I'm not going to add all of it necessarily. I'm going to look at the consistency. Give it a good sift. We should play a game. All of us together seeing who can spill the least powdered sugar. Should have grabbed a bigger bowl. Anyhow, we'll fast forward to this part. Please don't shove me doing this painstakingly into a small bowl. Move it all along. While you sift your powdered sugar out, grab a can of sweetened condensed milk. Not one can. There it is. Several tablespoons more than you need in the can than in 1 cup. So measure the cup out, pour that in, and we're gonna add our peppermint extract. To this glorious soup of sweetened condensed milk, I'm adding in 1.5 teaspoons of peppermint extract. One thing to note is it's not peppermint oil, it's peppermint extract. They're different things. Mix that up while you sift your powdered sugar. I really didn't spill that much. It just looks like a lot. Now, in a few batches, I'm gonna add this sifted powdered sugar into the mix, and it's gonna turn into a dough, almost. Basically, this is the center of our peppermint patty, and you're gonna be shocked by how good these are. It's so easy too. Mix on low. Continue adding more. I'll reserve about 1/2 cup of the powdered sugar and use it only if the dough is still sticky. And yes, you should definitely scrape the bowl then at some point, but not yet. You can see already it's coming together. Brian, do you love peppermint patties? Yes. How many will you be eating?
All of them.
Will you let the kids and I have a bite?
No.
Better make a double batch. This is where you're happy to have a stand mixer because it's really doing a good amount of work for you. Would not want to make this by hand. So I want to just take a look right now and see what's going on. Give the bowl a scrape. Some parts are really nice, some parts are wet. So I'm gonna scrape the paddle down as well. Sometimes when you have a really thick batter, some of the gooey parts can stay on the top of the paddle at the bottom, and you really need to just get it all out for a good reset. I'm gonna add the remaining powdered sugar in because there are some parts that are a little bit wet. Okay. Get to work. Sometimes, by the way, you'll have a batch of sweetened condensed milk that is really milky white, and sometimes it's a little bit more caramel colored. I love the caramel colored one. It's been cooked down just a little bit at the factory, and has a depth of flavor, but you will have like an off-white center to your peppermint patties. These are homemade. They're gonna taste delicious either way. Just don't be concerned about that. This is nice. So you can see it's not sticking to my hands. Look at that. There we go. Give that bowl a scrape, grab a sheet of parchment paper, and dust it generously with confectioner's sugar. This reminds me of making marshmallows. Peppermint chocolate dipped marshmallows. Let me know if you want that. That would be good. I think that's a recipe on the blog, but I don't think it's on the channel. Grab your non-Newtonian mess of peppermint filling, and we're gonna plop this out and shape it and roll it. Listen, it's thick, but it needs to be. Otherwise, it would just like. Thank you. That was an elegant dismount. A little bit more powdered sugar. Pat that into a mass. This looks really nice. It's so funny because it looks like dough, but it's not. A little bit more powdered sugar. 1/4 inch thickness. I'm using my bumpered rolling pin. I bought this because I was on vacation and had to do some work, like I had to develop a recipe. So I got it on online. I was like, oh, I'll never use this again afterwards, but it's one of my favorites because if you want to say 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch thickness, you can't do anything but that thickness. It's perfect. You do want to add more powdered sugar because you see it starts lifting things up. Perfect. grab a baking sheet with either another sheet of parchment paper or a Silpat. Silpats are like parchment paper, but they're reusable and nothing will ever stick to them ever, ever, ever. I'm also gonna dust my 1.5-inch circle cutter in powdered sugar every once in a while. Give it a cut, and it might stick to the cutter. You can use an offset spatula just to plop them out. Dust it, cut it, and transfer over. These are gonna get frozen, so when we come back to them, they'll be nice and firm. But when you eat them, they'll melt in your mouth, which is what you want. If you're making this on a hot winter day, then you can always just take the whole thing and pop it into the fridge or freezer to set up a bit if it's getting a little bit melty. It's so important to just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and not leave, don't leave anything sitting, because it'll stick. I'll end up with about 72 peppermint patties, and as you can see, re-rolling the scraps is beyond easy. It just comes back together in a dough right away. I'll continue this off camera. These guys are ready to go into the freezer for at least 30 minutes, up to overnight, and the longer the better if you want them to be rock hard when you pour your chocolate on. But 30 minutes will do in a pinch. In you go. Towards the end of our chill time, we're gonna add 3.5 cups or 630 grams of chocolate chips into a big bowl. Bittersweet, semi-sweet, it's up to you. I'm also gonna grab either 1 tablespoon of shortening or of coconut oil. They'll both work. Just make sure it's not fractionated coconut oil. It should be a solid at room temperature. That gets plopped right into our chocolate chips, and we're gonna microwave this. If you wanna use a double boiler, go ahead, but 30-second increments in the microwave, stirring in between, and this will be nice and very dippy. We're adding the oil in just to give the chocolate a bit more slack, so it's really nice for dipping those peppermint cores into the microwave. Once your chocolate's mostly melted, just let the bowl hang out in the microwave for a minute or two. The residual heat will warm up the rest of the chocolate, and it should be nice and melty. Let's take a look. Couple lumps left, but I'm just gonna give this a good stir, and I think the residual heat here will finish melting it up. Look how nice that is. It's basically all melted, but I'm gonna do a test patty and see how it is. This kind of needs to be on the warmer side of melted chocolate. If it gets too cold, it'll be really thick, and you'll have too much chocolate covering your peppermint patty. It should be a fairly thin coat. So we'll do a test, and we'll find out. If you've ever completely misread a recipe or misremembered it, let's just say it happens to everybody. I fixed this by making 2 batches and shooting it, but the reason that these are so floppy out of the freezer is when I made this batch, I used the whole can of sweetened condensed milk. It actually gives you a really soft, melt in your mouth peppermint patty, but oh my gosh, the skill level to dip these, look at this, is extreme. So 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk, not the whole can, and you won't have this happening to you. So I'm grabbing smaller batches of my patties out of the freezer, and we're gonna work in batches. A larger fork, if you can, a little offset spatula to do some work. I'm going to shovel some chocolate on top, and this might be too cool, so we'll see. And now, tap the excess off. Wipe. And we're going to transfer this over. It's kind of like a fly onto the baking sheet and don't get stuck in a situation. The one thing about this recipe is the patties can be soft even after they're frozen, and you're gonna fix everything by using a wider fork. The patties can kind of droop a little bit sometimes, especially if it's a warmer day or just warm in your house. I had a batch of rejects that I ate. Oh my gosh, they're so good. So even if they're not the most beautiful peppermint patties, they are homemade and they're gonna be delicious. Anyways, let's keep working. And if you want, you can have half of them in the freezer or just try and work quick. If you want, you could definitely add a little bit of a sprinkle of nonpareils or any other kind of decoration you enjoy. This one's full. It's gonna go into the fridge right now. I'm gonna wash my hands and finish up the next batch. Once the chocolate's set up, grab a slightly larger round cookie cutter and just trim any excess pieces off, and your peppermint patties will look nice and round. So much better than store-bought. Cool, amazing chocolate mintiness. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe, and if you like this video, check out my holiday candy playlist.